Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Tracy Show. Welcome. You could be anywhere in the world, but you stopped right here. And that touches my heart. Well, as I know everyone is anxiously awaiting for the Diddy verdict, I want to talk about something else. Yeah, I do. Diddy ain't the only one. I want to talk about a few other things. And I want to talk about a person that I've been talking about, but I just needed to catch up on him. This man right here. Mr. Massie. Can we get into him? Because, Lord, they are sending him to Louisiana State. And, child, I heard that was called another Alcatraz. Let's get into it.
After a historic jailbreak from the Orleans Justice Center, a ninth escapee has been caught. Now, Antoine Massie is back in state custody and on his way to Angola. Good evening. I'm Devin Barlotta.
And I'm Sharice Gibson. Massie joins 8 other inmates who have already been captured the last more than a month ago. And surprisingly, he was found only about 2 miles from the jail.
Amelia Strahan headed to Holly Grove shortly after his arrest and has the latest.
9 down, 1 to go. Over a month after 10 inmates escaped Orleans Justice Center, police arrested Antoine Massie Friday afternoon.
It's a pretty quiet neighborhood. It's kind of shocking.
The 33-year-old's final moments of freedom ended at this home in Holly Grove, less than 2 miles from the jail. The woman who owns the house where he was found didn't want to show her face on camera, but says she rents the space out on Airbnb and was shocked when she found out the fugitive was on her property.
I'm frustrated too. I don't know what's happening. They say this is going on, and I get here and I don't even see a cop.
Another resident on the street describes the block as peaceful and says he was surprised to see unmarked cars lining his block.
It didn't really scare me because I was glad that you all got me. I was hoping to get the other one.
Authorities say a Crime Stoppers tip led to the arrest, ending a weeks-long multi-agency manhunt. NOPD Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick said the tip came directly to Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson.
When the community believes and trusts their police departments and their law enforcement agencies, they work cooperatively.
According to police, a Crime Stoppers G&O tip led to his arrest, and they say Massie didn't put up a fight.
All of these captures have been able to be done peacefully, and that is also the end of the game. We don't want anyone hurt, not our own officers, and certainly not Mr. Groves.
Derek Groves is the last of the escapees not back behind bars. Law enforcement are offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to his arrest. Amelia Strahan, WWL, Louisiana.
Again, Antoine Massie has been caught. He is the 9th inmate found, leaving only Derek Groves still on the run tonight. If you know anything about where he might be, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. You can get $50,000 for any information leading to his arrest. Information on how to submit a tip is on our website, WWLTV.com.
Massie appeared before Magistrate Commissioner J. Daniels via Zoom from Maximum Security Prison, Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola, held on a count of aggravated escape. Assistant Attorney General Daniel Smart asked Daniels to hold Massie without bond, a request defense attorney Steve Smith dismissed as absolutely ridiculous. There is absolutely no reason to think Mr. Massie is some kind of a flight risk, Smith said. This man is literally the walking definition of a flight risk, Smart countered. He has cost the taxpayers of the state and the city untold millions of dollars, and he can sit at Angola until his case is resolved. The state is going to be seeking, at a bare minimum, an additional 10 years consecutive. Let me say that again. 10 years consecutive, not concurrent, consecutive to whatever else he gets. Daniels opted to hold the quadruple offender without bond. As of Saturday afternoon, 9 escapees have been recaptured. Convicted Killer Derek Groves remains at large. Now, let's talk a little bit about Louisiana State Prison. Louisiana State Prison is known as, they call it the Plantation, and I've heard some other people call it south of Alcatraz. Now, this land was developed as Angola Penitentiary in the 1830s from Francis Rout as 4 plantations by Isaac Franklin. He was a planter and slave trader, co-owner of the profitable slave trading firm Franklin and Armfield of Alexandria, Virginia, and Natchez, Mississippi. After he died in 1846, Franklin's widow, by then known as Aldecia Cheatham, joined these plantations. Panola, Bellevue, Killamee, and Angola, when she sold them all in 1880 to Samuel Lawrence James, the former CSA officer. The Angola Plantation was named after the country on the west of southern Africa, from which many enslaved people had come. It contained a building called the Old Slave Quarters. Under the convict lease system, Major James ran his vast plantation using convicts leased from the state as his workers. He was responsible for their room and board and had total authority over them. With the incentive to earn money from prisoners, the state passed laws directed at African Americans, requiring payment of minor fees and fines as punishment for infractions. Cash poor men in the agricultural economy were forced into jail and convict labor. Such convicts were frequently abused, underfed, and subject to unregulated violence. The state exercised little oversight of conditions. Prisoners were often worked to death under harsh conditions. James died in 1894. The 20th century operations, the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections says this facility opened as a state prison in 1901. The state began transferring prison facilities out of the old penitentiary into Angola. The old penitentiary continued to be used as a receiving station, hospital, clothing, and shoe factory, and place for executions until it finally closed in 1917. The history and archaeology of the old penitentiary provides insights into inmates' structures and daily life. In September of 1928, prisoners Cleveland Owen, Stephen J. Beck, and James Hurd took 2 prison guards hostage and escaped from Camp E armed with 45 Colt automatics. 10 additional prisoners followed them out of the gates. The break was thwarted when the anticipated ferry was not positioned on the river's prison side. A GUN fight between guards and prisoners ensued, leaving 5 prisoners dead. According to contemporary news reports, 26 prisoners were shot, trusty prisoners who assisted the guards later sought pardons from Governor Huey Long. Charles Wolfe and Kip Lornell, authors of The Life and Legend of Leadbelly, stated that Angola was probably as close to slavery as any person could come in 1930. Hardened criminals broke down upon being notified that they were being sent to Angola. White-black racial tensions in the society were expressed at the prison, adding to the violence. Each year, 1 in every 10 inmates were stabbed. Wolfe and Lornell stated that the staff consisted of 90 people, and they ran their staff like it was a private domain. The two authors stated that the prisoners were viewed as the worst of the lowest order. The state did not appropriate many funds to the operation of Angola and saved money by trying to decrease costs. Much of the remaining money ended up in the operations of other state projects. Wolfe and Lornell stated that the reappropriation of funds occurred mysteriously. In 1935, remains of a Native American individual were taken from Angola and were donated to the Louisiana State University Museum of Natural Science. In 1948, Governor Earl Kemp Long appointed Rollo C. Lawrence, a former mayor of Pineville, as the first Angola superintendent. Long subsequently established the warden position as one of political patronage. Long appointed distant relatives as wardens of the prison. In the institution's history, the electric chair, Gruesome Gertie, was stored at Angola because West Feliciana Parish did not want to be associated with state executions. For some time, the state transported the chair to the parish of conviction of a condemned prisoner before executing them. A former Angola prisoner, William Sadler, also called Wooden Ear because of hearing loss he suffered after a prison attack, wrote a series of articles about Angola in the 1940s. Hell on Angola, helping bring about prison reform. In February 1951, 31 inmates, in protest of the prison's conditions, cut their own Achilles tendon. Unable to use both feet, the inmates hopped around and sang the Heel String Boogie, and the group was labeled the Heel String Gang. When the protests made headlines, Long convened a committee of 32 judges, law officers, and media members to investigate conditions at the prison. By May, the number of inmates who had slashed their Achilles tendon had risen to 55. However, the protest was successful. The committee recommended several reforms, including the abolition of corporal punishment at the prison. In its November 22, 1952 issue, Collier's magazine referred to Angola as the worst prison in America. In addition, Margaret Dixon, managing editor of the Baton Rouge Morning Advocate for 2 decades, worked for prison reform, specifically construction of other facilities to reduce population at Angola. The new Margaret Dixon Correctional Institution opened in 1976 and was named for her. On December 5th, 1956, 5 men escaped by digging out of the prison grounds and swimming across the Mississippi River. They were Robert Wallace, 25, Wallace McDonald, 23, Vernon Roy Ingram, 21, Glenn Holliday, 20, and Frank Gann, 30. The Hope Star newspaper of Arkansas reported that one body, believed to be Wallace, was recovered from the river. McDonald was captured later in Texas after returning to the United States from Mexico. McDonald said that the 2 of his fellow escapees drowned, but Warden Marie Sigler disputed this. Sigler said that he believed no more than 1 inmate drowned. His men had found 3 clear sets of tracks climbing up the riverbanks. Gann's family wrote to Sigler on multiple occasions, requesting that he declare the escaped prisoner dead to stop free up the benefits for his children. Although the family never heard again from Gann, Sigler refused to declare him dead, saying that he was likely in Mexico. Gann had been in prison in Angola after escaping from the parish jail on April 29, 1956, where he was serving a relatively minor charge for car theft. In 1961, female inmates were moved from Angola to the newly opened Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women. In 1971, the American Bar Association criticized the conditions at Angola. Linda Ashton of the Associated Press stated that the Bar Association described Angola as medieval, squalid, and horrifying. In 1972, Elaine Hunt, a reforming director of corrections, was appointed by Governor Edwin Edwards. The U.S. courts and Gates K. Collier ordered Louisiana to clean up Angola and once and for all ordering the end of the trustee officer and trustee systems. In the 1980s, Kinsey Nix perpetrated the Angola Lonely Heart scam from within the prison. On June 21st, 1989, U.S. District Judge Polozola declared a new state of emergency at Angola. In 1983, Angola officers fatally shot 29-year-old escapee Tyrone Brown, but Kane served as the warden from 1995 to March 7th of 2016. He was known for numerous improvements, lowering the prison violence rate and numerous criminal allegations. In 1999, 6 inmates who were serving life sentences for murder took 3 officers hostage in Camp D. The hostage takers bludgeoned and fatally stabbed 49-year-old Captain David Knapp's. Armed officers ended the rebellion by shooting the inmates, unaliving 26-year-old Joel Durham, and seriously wounding another. By the 21st century, in 2004, Paul Harris of The Guardian wrote, "Unsurprisingly, Angola has always been famed for brutality, riots, escape, and murder." On August 31st, 2008, New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin stated in a press conference that anyone arrested for looting during the evacuation of the city due to a hurricane would not be housed in the city parish jail, but instead sent directly to Angola to await trial. As evidence that the prison had retained its notoriety, Nagin warned, "Anybody who is caught looting in the city of New Orleans will go directly to Angola. Directly to Angola. You will not have a temporary stay in the city. You go directly to the big house and general population." All right? So I want to make sure that every looter, potential looter, understands that. You will go directly to Angola prison, and God bless you when you go there. In the years between, there were so many KILLINGS. There were double bunkings. The dormitories were full to capacity. It was just a mess. There was even one man who was there, I believe, for life. His name was Glenn Ford, wrongfully convicted of murder in Louisiana's longest serving death row prisoner, walked free after a court overturned his conviction a day earlier when petitioned by prosecutors. Ford had spent nearly 3 decades at the prison with 26 years in solitary confinement on death row. This is insane. This is insane. In 2020, regarding the COVID-19 pandemic in Louisiana, wrote the prisoners alleged that deliberately low testing rates masked an epidemic in the prison. Prison officials denied the prisoners' allegations. Prisoners also alleged they were treated with over-the-counter medications, and 4 of the 12 prisoners who have died in the pandemic had been denied needed medical help for days because their symptoms were not considered sufficiently serious. This is awful. This is awful. Antoine, you did this to yourself. In 2023, U.S. District Judge Shelby Dick ruled that the juvenile detainees in Angola were being held in conditions that were unconstitutional and ordered their removal from temporary lockup. Legal advocates like the American Civil Liberties Union and the Southern Poverty Law Center were involved in advocating for the juvenile detainees, mostly black boys, to be removed from Angola, citing concerns about their mental health, access to education, and the excessive heat in the former death row until the boys were being held in. This is crazy. Crazy work. And that was 2023. The main entrance is at the terminus of Louisiana Highway 66, a road described by Wolf and Lornell as a winding, often muddy state road from St. Francisville. One would travel about 2 miles north along U.S. Highway 61, turn left at Louisiana 66, and travel on that road for 20 miles until it dead ends at Angola's front gate. The Angola Ferry provides a ferry service between Angola and a point in unincorporated Point Coupe Parish. The ferry is open only to employees except during special events when members of the general public may use it. I could actually do a part 1, 2, 3, and 4 on this prison. Antoine, Derek, and whoever else. Any young men, if you're listening, stay out of prison. Stay out of prison. Find something to do with your lives. Please. Find God. Find God. And I guarantee this is one place you will not end up. Well, I can't guarantee, but I can almost 95% guarantee the way things are going right now. Try not to make life so hard for yourself. Please. Men and women, boys and girls, people of color, we got it hard already. Try not to make it even more difficult. And on the way out, please do not forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.